Okay, I think we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to round number 13 of SRL F1. Today we are in the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza, or the Italian Grand Prix, as most of us know it as. But today I am joined, as usual, with VRT Ringrose for tonight's broadcast. How are you doing this evening?
Not too bad, not too bad. Should be a good one. We've got, well, by the looks of overcast skies here in Italy, so it'll be interesting to see whether it could be forecast rain. Obviously, we don't know that. But if it is, you would expect to see everybody out on track straight away, which seems to be getting quite a few people out on track. Yeah, so should be interesting.
Yeah, you guys are going to try and get as quickly as possible, just in case it does rain. Like you said, it's looking a bit overcast at the moment, so we might see some rain later on in the qualifying session, and maybe in the race as well. But Monza, I think one of my favourite circuits on the calendar. Usually it's a pretty quick race, pretty exciting. Sometimes a dull moment, but we'll have to wait and see. These guys will be hitting some blistering speeds today in Italy, and hopefully we see some great moves, great overtakes. Hopefully nobody crashes, but it is league racing, so someone will crash, won't they, at one point, Ringrose, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it's always really bound to happen with the game and just sort of the nature of the racing. You're always bound to get one or two incidents at least, but, you know, the field is usually pretty clean, and often there's an incident on that one, so don't be surprised to see it again. Last week we had a very interesting incident with Joe and Feisty Ted going off by Rouge. Resulted in Joe's retirement and, well, sort of ended Ted's podium hopes, or any decent points really. He sort of came P6, I believe. But no Danny this week, but we do have Jason and Melanie, our other two podium sitters from last week. So,
last week I did watch the stream while I was in France. I was away, unfortunately, but I'm back now. But yeah, I did watch it, and it was a great race from what I could see on Twitch. But yeah, Jason still leading the championship this season, round 13 today. But he's leading the championship by 88 points over Feisty Ted, who is on 146 points. Maranzano in third with 132. Joe in fourth, 114, and Melanie in fifth with 78 points. So a little bit of a split. These guys are going to have to work really hard to try and catch Danny now. And we got Ted racing today. I think he's on the. Where is Ted's lagged out? It looks like.
Yeah, he's retired. I don't know whether he's sort of maybe going for a slightly different strategy.
Oh, no idea. No idea.
He retired straight away. So, and that's a Force India. I believe that's Matty. ECR Matty, not Matty Bolton. That's going to be interesting.
Of course, a lot of people have changed their names now, haven't they? Is it Smith? That's Ollie Bob, isn't it?
Smithson is Ollie. It's Ollie or Bottas, and Danny is here. So Danny has just joined the session. So Danny will be racing this week, and Smithson goes provisional pole with Joe just going in behind him. Half a tenth down on him, but that's a pretty good lap from Smithson. We wouldn't usually expect him to be the fastest runner. RBZ now sets the time, slotting in between Joe and Smithson. Jason, Langman, sort of some of the guys near the top AOL F1 drivers, and Smithson has slotted it in first.
Yeah, I did not expect
that's only their first run, but
yeah,
who knows?
Oh, that's a Ferrari off. Who is that? I'm not quite sure who that was.
That's
the Italian driver in a Ferrari in Italy. He's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders today, so we'll have to wait and see if he can pull out a result. So that's not our goal, but in sixth. But still, these guys will most likely do another run in today's qualifying session.
Should do that.
Yeah. Just still quite a few drivers still set a lap. There are a couple of people who've either retired or crashed out, as Expert Almond, Ted, and Matty who who looked like they retired. So we'll have to wait and see if they can get a lap in later on. Of course, Danny as well, who will have to start at the back of the grid. So we'll have to keep an eye on Danny in the race, Ringrose. He'll be one to watch.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, keep an eye on him later on.
Yeah. I mean, sort of recently he's been battling with Jason. Obviously, Danny joined the championship quite late, joined the league late in the season, so hasn't raced since race 1. Like a lot of the other drivers, like Jason, Joe, etc. So he's down on points compared to them. But if he keeps getting the results he's been getting, you could see him up there later on in the championship. He's sort of in Jason's pace, battling for wins, battling for seconds. He's sort of been Jason's second place man since he's joined. But it's pretty much impossible to catch Jason for Danny.
Yeah.
I mean, Jason will have to have some absolute shockers. Going into the flyaway races after this race. This is the last European race, I believe, on the calendar. So, yeah.
Yeah, we head to Singapore next week, the last of the street circuits on the calendar. So that should be should throw up some surprises as well. But like you said, Danny, again, the last 3 Grand Prix, the 4th, the 1st, and the 2nd. But it's going to be a tall order to catch Jason now. It's hard enough for Ted to even do it, but for Danny to do it as well. I'll have to wait and see. Who knows? These games can throw up anything these days, so we'll have to wait and see. These guys are all coming in to have a little bit of a break before heading out for one more lap. Just on board JP as he comes towards Parabolica on the final bend, where they've now concreted the edge rather than just gravel, which was far more entertaining if we saw cars go off, but they've changed it now. So JP comes across the line. Is this a starting lap or is this a proper lap? No, it's a starting lap. Okay, so he's starting his first flying lap. Probably get two laps in, the McLaren driver, but we'll keep an eye on him as V6 Racing goes pole with a 20.5, 4 tenths quicker than Smithson. It's going to be difficult to keep an eye on all these names now with everyone changing them. So I'll have to get back into that, but I'm sure it'll be fine later on. But yeah.
Yeah. Sort of take maybe a race or two to get back into it. But I believe Melanie's on the lap. Very good result for him. 2 podiums this season. The other one being in the tight and twisty streets of Monaco, where we had that infamous collision with Jason, Ted, and I believe it was Project. On the last lap at swimming pool, and I think that allowed him to get a podium with all the various penalties. It was very confusing at the end. We didn't know. I don't think we quite knew who was on that podium, but we knew he was on the podium last week. And where's he going to go? We now know he's in P7 provisionally. A good 6 tenths off of P6 in Langman though, so definitely some time to improve, and he's definitely got some time to find in that car.
Yeah, it definitely is. JP slots directly in front of him by 4 tenths there. He looks like he will go for another lap, JP. But yeah, like you said, Manley is a bit far down at the moment. Still got Reynolds and Matty Bolton to set another lap. So you Bolton are 2 different people. Confirm that.
Yeah.
Okay, just
so that people don't get confused as well.
Okay.
So we'll say Matty Bolton and we'll say ECR Matty, so nobody gets confused.
Okay, cool. Just confirming
I think that's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah. So it's Reynolds. Reynolds just coming round the final bend, locking up and going a bit wide. They're not hitting the apex during the final bend in that Sauber. Where will he slot out? Goes a bit wide.
He's about to go on a lap now.
He's just about to start.
Go on a lap.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just about to start one now, so see what you can do if you want to stand on board with him.
Yeah, I'll get the telemetry up so we can see his lap data. Just coming through the first chicane. I'm not going to try and pronounce the first. Some of the names I can't pronounce, unfortunately. If only my Italian was a bit better, but I know a bit of French, and that is about it. It comes round the Curva Grande towards the second chicane. What's his sector time going to be? 26.5. He comes through the second chicane, a little bit of a lock up there, cutting both curves as he comes man 2. 2, or as I like to call them, lesbian 1 and lesbian 2. I'll try not and say that in the stream, but nicely around both those corners, coming towards down the back straight where he will have DRS, and towards Ascari. There we go. I did get it. JP's retired from the session. Quick left, right, left through the start of sector 3 on to the 3rd or 4th straight on this Italian Grand Prix. People getting out of the way for Reynolds here as he comes around the final bend, and it's a pretty quick lap here in Italy, around about 120. Well, low 120, so he comes across the line. Where's he going to slot in? Second. Jeez, that is a quick lap. Good job, Reynolds. 3/10 off the lead. He still has time for one more lap, but we'll keep an eye on everybody else as well. How's our championship leader doing? He's coming through Ascari now as well. Well, he is on a lap. We'll keep an eye on him. Still should have enough time to get round for one more if he doesn't mess up this lap, but we'll keep an eye on that. Anyone else near the end ring rows on your screen?
Jason, Joe's very, very close behind him. Matty Bolton might be setting a time this session. He retires from the session. Reynolds thinks he's done enough. He retires. Joe goes pole, personal pole with a 20.4. Him and Jason both get another lap. V6 just behind them. Smithson is just coming through the second chicane. Not too bad from there, clipping the curve slightly there. Let's see what he can do. RBZ has completed his time. 21 dead to go P5. We'll see what Jason can do. He's about to come into the first sector split. 1.5 attempts up, so this could be a very, very good lap from Jason. That Langman into P4. So currently Jason's not looking too good down in P7. Antimaz isn't going to improve, and Harley looks like he is be a second here, Duke. And where's he going to cross the line? He's going to go 8th, so the lowest Jason can get is 8th now, but it's just whether he can improve his time.
Yeah, Smith's son goes across the line, and he will get up to 4th place. Langman's finished in 5th. What else is near the end? V6 is coming down the towards the final bend. Is that Jason ahead of him? I'm quite sure. Yeah, Jason.
Yeah, Jason.
Around the final bend. Where will Jason pop out on track? Comes across the line, and that is P6 for the championship leader there. What about V6? V6 binned it. V6 has binned it there around Parabolica, half a front wing, and he's going to have to finish. Well, he will have second, so not the end of the world for the Red Bull driver. Good result, but Joe currently, and that is it. Actually, that is it. Everybody is
Joe pole.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's Joe on pole for today's race. Good result for him. He hasn't had the best time in SRL. Last good result was Austria, P3. So he's had two did not start and 2 DNFs the last 3 Grand Prix. So maybe things are looking up after the Christmas break for him. But here we are at the final standings. So Joe on pole, V6 Racing in 2nd, Reynolds in 3rd, Smithson in 4th, Langman 5th, Jason in 6th, RBZ 7th, Harley, that's a difficult one, in 8th, JP 9th, Antsmaz in 10th, Melanie 11th, Expert Almond in 12th, Feisty Ted 13th, Matty Bolton 14th, ECR Matty in 15th, and I believe Danny will be 16th with the way the game works. So he'll slot in the final position on track.
Yep, should be a very interesting race. Jason down in P6, we'd usually expect him to be sort of first couple of rows, but obviously he may not have the pace around this circuit. Seems to be sunny. Believe me, I know RGL we don't. So he's going to be starting P6 on the same set of tyres as everyone else. So everyone in the top 10 is going to be on the Superstars. And yeah, and everyone else I believe will go something different unless there's a distinct advantage between the Superstars compared to the other tyres. But it'll be interesting to see what Danny does. Obviously starting right at the back. I don't even know if Danny will have a setup. So
that was going to be annoying if he doesn't. It's going to be really tricky for him to get anywhere without a setup.
We'll have to see. I mean, there should be overtime, most likely. don't want to sound like that, but there will probably be a retirement or two.
Yeah,
It always is.
Yeah. I think
It's bound to happen.
someone may go to break a bit too late at Lesmo 1 and go straight into the wall.
Oh no!
No, we do our formation lap.
I thought we went that. All the red lights, and got excited.
Yeah, so let us know who you want to predict and who you want to win in the chat, guys. We love to see your predictions there, and if we can do anything different, you want to see the timings slightly different or different, what tyre they're on, let us know in the Twitch stream. That would be fantastic. But Ringwas, as we're on the formation lap,
yep.
Shall we do some cheeky predictions for the Italian Grand Prix?
Go for it. I'm going to say Joe's going to win.
Ooh.
I think he seemed to be very, very comfortable in qualifying. I think Reynolds has the pace, but I've obviously watched his races, but he's just a bit inconsistent. He sort of has a really good race and a really off race, and I don't know if I can see him up there. I think it'll be challenging, but I don't know if he'll get there. I'm going to go Jason second. Just the nature of Jason. He's probably the consistent driver in this field, along with Marantino, who's unfortunately not here, which is a shame. But I'm going to go as a surprise and stick Smithson in third. I think he seemed to have the pace, but again, we've got RBZ in seventh, Langman in fifth, V6 in second, Danny all the way at the back, and she's disqualified from the session. But interesting to point out, Melanie, 88, XB1, ECO Matty, and Danny are all on the mediums. Everybody else is on a set of super softs. So when we're sort of talking about pit stops, they should be the top four-ish. They'll be up there, but I reckon Danny's got the pace to sort of make his way through the field first, along with Melanie. I'm not too sort of known of the other guys really. I know Matty raced last week, but feel for his pace. Yeah,
exactly. I think I'm gonna go Jason for the win because he's very good. And then yeah, exactly. And then I'm gonna go Reynolds third and Reynolds second and Danny to come through the grid and get the final podium position. That's my.
Oh, that'd be interesting. That'd be a good story.
It would. Yeah, it would.
Interested to see.
We'll see. So the lights are coming on now. 3, 4, 5 red lights for the Italian Grand Prix. And away we go. A bit of a delayed start there, but Joe looks like he gets a good start off the line. He goes down towards turn 1, the chicane. A bit of jostling behind. There's almost 3 abreast coming down towards turn 1 and 2. Will we see any contact? Reynolds tries to go around the outside there, doesn't manage to do it, but Reynolds up 1 position, V6 has dropped, but Joe keeps the lead as they go round the Curve Grande. Reynolds is under pressure from V6 as they come towards the second chicane. Langman is going to place Smithson, also kept in P6 at the moment as they come towards, still no overtaking there. Oh, there's a bit of contact between V6 and Reynolds as they come through there. Langman trying to go around the outside run. Lesmo 1 doesn't manage to do it there towards Lesmo 2. Will he be able to make the move? V6 losing the back end a little bit, struggling on these cold super softs as they come down the back straight here. No DRS, of course. At the moment, we'll have to wait until lap 3 for some more overtaking, but V6 on the back of Reynolds. He goes towards the inside. Pulls out of that move there, really close to the back of Reynolds as they come. Oh, and that's a big cut by V6. But a brilliant start from these guys. Not too much overtaking at the top, but a bit of a train forming behind Reynolds now, Ringrose.
Yeah, Joe's sort of done a Vettel-esque Red Bull start there and just sort of shot off into the distance. 1.5 seconds in the lead of Reynolds. He does a 26.1 on his first lap. Is that Langman in V6? Yes, it is. He's going to go outside. V6 seems to brake later, but Langman is still there. Are they going to make contact? No. But V6 on the outside gets that better exit and just sort of drives out of that corner. Smithson is under pressure from both RBZ and Jason. Jason's now down the position into P7, so this is not really what Jason wants. Smithson and RBZ battling. Smithson defends well there, I have to say, from RBZ. And our man Danny, our prediction, well, your prediction to get up on the podium, he's made up 3 positions in the first couple of laps. He's now in P13. XB1 to come into the pit, put on a set of soft tyres, and Danny's going to go side by side with Matty Bolton and make that 2 positions for Danny. He's dropped down.
Okay, but you got RBZ and Jason battling away as they come towards Parabolica. Will Jason put it up the inside? A late lunge, and it doesn't look like yet for the championship leader. Harley is down the inside of Feisty Ted around the final bend. That's a good move from the...
Sorry to cut you off there, Chuke, but that is the Italian Antsmaz right in front of the Tifosi, getting spun. Didn't quite catch who that was that spun him, but he's going to need a nose change. Into the pit lane he goes. What tyres is it going to be? Chuke, what are you seeing on your screen?
So it was 3 abreast. Danny, Matty Bolton and ECR Matty with 3 abreast coming into the first chicane there. Luckily, no damage for any of them, but Danny up to 12th now, and Matty's almost almost goes into down the inside to the second chicane, but doesn't do it. But yeah, sorry to interrupt. Was that Antsmazi's on another set of tyres?
He's gone. Is that a set of mediums? I can't quite tell from the camera. Yeah, he's gone on to a set of mediums on that Ferrari. But it's a shame. Hoping he could have got a good result in front of his home fans.
Oh, Harley is off. Parabolica smoke. Oh, jeez, he ghosted luckily. Oh, Harley just before the start of sector 3, he's just binned it, and that's no front wing for the Sauber driver.
Yeah, he's lost a bit of front wing. That's V6 as well. V6 on the exit of Ascari. Spun. We didn't catch that on camera, but he's retired from the session. I just sort of saw a Red Bull facing the other way, and there's no other Red Bulls. So he's got to be V6. As obviously Harley comes into the pit lane. But that's put Reynolds up into P2 and Langman in P3. Interesting.
Yeah,
wasn't expecting that.
We said we'd see some crashes today, Ringrose, and we've seen 2 huge ones already. Luckily, the
Indeed we have.
Not taking anybody else out, but yeah, unlucky for V6 and Harley, but Harley is still in the race. V6 has given up and left. I think he just got annoyed and he just quit because he was in a good position as well. Langman right on the back of Reynolds coming towards Ascari. Doesn't make the move there, but both cutting the curve there. They can sort of do that on at this track, but Smithson and RBZ side by side. Yep. As they come down towards Parabolica, RBZ has the outside line. Will he make the move stick? And Smithson backs off, and that is RBZ up into 4th place.
Jason might have a run on Smithson here.
And
right,
RBZ went wide as well. So
they're all going to get slipstream and DRS, apart from RBZ. RBZ's going to come under threat from Smithson. He's going to make that mistake. He's going to have to... Langman's got a 3-second corner cut penalty, so that could be costly for him throughout the race at the end. But on the outside, Vettel Alonso-esque from 2011, I believe. And yeah, Smithson can't make that move stick on RBZ, and RBZ pulls out a slight gap on the exit of the second chicane there. Jason slotting in, still behind Smithson. Only in P6 still, so no gain from him. Yeah,
the Langman penalty, Ringrose, was because he braked too late, went down the inside of Reynolds and cut the second part of the chicane, so that's why he got a 3-second penalty. But the Danny, those who are supporting Danny's up into 10th place now, so he's gaining some places here. Let's see what tyres are all on, because it's currently on the position change stops. There we go. There's a train sort of forming behind Reynolds, and well, no, it's more RBZ has got a train on him, but EVR, Reynolds and Langman are battling away side by side as they come over the line to start lap number 6. Langman is in the slipstream. He does have DRS as well. He pops it down the inside, but he does have that 3-second penalty that might count against him later on. Down the inside, makes the move stick this time on the curb, but Reynolds goes round the outside and keeps that position.
Great move there from Reynolds.
Wow,
I don't know how he's done that. Great run on the exit. Langman, I think, rode onto the sleeping policeman there and just sort of lost traction, and Reynolds goes right around the outside. Gets him far superior.
Oh, he's in the gravel. Put wheel on the gravel.
Off the corner, but Langman got far superior traction off that corner. Reynolds is going to force him out wide. Doesn't want Langman to get the position. Banging wheels, but Langman makes it stick. Jeez. That's Smithson and Jason going side by side, I believe. Feisty Ted sort of just behind this battle, hoping that something goes wrong. Currently down in P7, started P13.
Whoa, no, RBZ's off!
RBZ.
Oh, the almost forward press going down to Parabolica. Please, guys, don't do this now. Let's hopefully it doesn't end in tears now. But Jason is getting 3 positions off here and is up into 3rd. Reynolds has stayed up there. Langman dropping down 2 positions. Ted has gained positions as well. Like you said, it reminds me of RGL Canada again. Ringrose with all the craziness that happened in the last lap, but we're on lap 7 at the moment.
It's just like that. It's just like that.
Yeah. Oh, and that's Smithson on the grass.
Battling for 1 position. Smithson's had to take this gate road. He's got a penalty for that, so he won't be happy there. But Jason is the big winner out of that. We said that's a race. Wow, he's crashed it. If you go on board now, he's crashed it on the exit of Ascari. I don't know how he's done that. By looks of it, he's spun, hit the wall, and now facing backwards. But if we go back on the battle, Jason is all over EVR Reynolds. He's going to have DRS on the Sauber driver. Reynolds seems to be struggling. Joe's managed to put out a 5.6 second gap now on the Sauber driver. What can he do? Is he going to continue to pull away, or is Jason going to get past? Maybe even catch him up. We'll have to see.
Yeah, they can still see Joe in the distance at the moment. Yeah, no DRS as of yet, but they still can see Joe, so that will motivate them. There's a bit of a four-car train now. JP is on not far from the back as well, and Smithson and RBZ, who both had a moment on lap 7, 6 and 7, as that is there's RBZ into the pits. And mostly a top. Wait and see. Where's he going on? He's on the mediums, actually. The Williams driver.
So might be to the end, yeah.
Oh, no, they are...
That's got to be the end.
Are they mediums or are they...
We'll check the telemetry.
Yeah,
I'll check the telemetry.
Mediums.
They are mediums, right,
okay.
So he will be going to the end. Because if M Supers are lasting 8 laps, and well, they've got to be lasting more than 8 laps for these guys. And that's Langman in the gravel. And he's come straight into the path of Smithson. But Smithson manages to avoid the Renault. So good reflexes there from the Mercedes driver, but he's now down in P6. So from where he was in P3, now in P6. But Reynolds, go back to Reynolds and Jason. Reynolds has just got a 3-second time penalty.
Oh, I shouldn't have said anything.
Managed to stick with Jason. He's been sticking with Jason this lap. Are any of these drivers going to react to RBZ and come in? What happens between any of them? If Jason reacts, will any of the others react? Doesn't seem to be any of them. So
Langman's in.
Langman's in.
He's at the back of the train, wasn't he, Langman?
Yeah. So sort of everyone between Matty and Reynolds, well, I'd probably say Melanie and Reynolds, is sort of in one very long train, within sort of a gap second of each other, apart from Danny's got a bit of a gap to Smithson. But you slot Langman back in there, and RBZ as well. So RBZ jumps to Langman.
Oh,
so if RBZ continues at this pace, he should gain on pretty much all of them. As that's Matty Bolton, well, the other Renault, in the wars going through the same corner that Langman went off. Very similar. As he makes contact with Melanie, wheels with contact. But who's going to get DRS? I believe it's Melanie that's got the DRS. Can't quite see, but I think it's Melanie. But will any of the other guys react to Langman now?
We'll have to get on board with Jason. Will Jason come in as he comes around the final bend? Will Jason come in? Jason is in. Anybody else in? Is Ted staying out? JP is staying out. Smithen is also staying out. Danny's going to stay out. He's on a different strategy. And Matty Bolton's the only super soft left on track, but he stays out. So Jason coming in. What sort of tyres is Jason coming? He's going to go on to... Oh! Reynolds is off. Reynolds is off at the exit of the first chicane. And he's going to lose a place to Smithson. And he is down to 5th place now. The man who was in 3rd place has dropped down to 5th. Lost the back end coming out of the second part of the chicane. Not ideal for the Sauber driver. Hasn't lost too much time, but lost 3 positions there. But what is Jason? Jason has gone on to a set of softs. So he's going to see if he can make them last till the end. 17 laps. Do you think he can do it, Ringrose?
I mean, he's managed to do 10 laps on the softs, and is that JP off? Whoa, I just saw JP flying.
Reynolds in the wall! Reynolds is in the wall!
Oh, he's had a massive collision with... Ah! That must have been why he's been launched by Reynolds. He's just got a 5-second time penalty for a severe collision with EVR Reynolds. So, Reynolds without a front wing, and JP flying. That isn't what... Well, that's not an ideal situation for the Sauber team or the McLaren team there. As you race lead the pits, I'm sure he won't be needing a front wing change, but tyres don't look too bad. But I think he's going on the softs as well, Duke. So maybe they do last quite a while because not everyone's coming in yet. Simpson's staying out, Ted's staying out, both on a set of super softs, and so that'll be 11 laps at least. So softs must last 16 laps.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I think they may fall off the cliff towards the end of the race. Those guys who went on the mediums will catch them up towards the end. Oh, that's Smithson getting very sideways on the second chicane as Danny gets a penalty. Danny's up into 3rd now, but of course Danny is on a totally different strategy to the majority of the other drivers due to him joining during qualifying. But he is very near the back of Smithson, who was on worn supers. Antmaz gains a place off Reynolds, who is now in the pits. The Italian driver not doing too well at his home track, down in 13th, the Ferrari driver. But Smithson coming through Ascari, and Danny is very near the back of him. I think Ted and Smithson should be coming into the pits very soon, but Danny looks over him towards Parabolica. Smithson goes defensive, locking up as well. That is really not helping his tyres as Danny gets a far better run through the final bend. Ted stays up for another lap. Smithson is now in. That releases Danny.
Yeah, interesting to point out, Ted was actually on a first set because obviously he didn't set a time in qualifying, whereas Smithson did set a time. So Ted may be able to go that sort of 1 or 2 extra laps longer on that set of tyres. Jason sets to 23.4. Fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Still some way off the laps we were doing in qualifying, but heavier fuel. The cars, engine modes will be different. You have the max setting and all this, that and the other, the different tyres, etc. We won't be able to get near them times just yet unless somebody has a bit of an incident and decides to go for fastest lap. Basically everyone's pitted bar the top 4, so ECR, Matty, Melanie, Danny and Ted. I think Matty, Melanie, Danny all mediums, and Ted's supers. So we'll see Ted in the next couple of laps, and the rest will be somewhat longer before they come in.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if those guys who are pitting go on to super softs at the end, see if they can keep up with the guys who are on worn softs and worn mediums. As Langman gets another penalty, it's now 6 seconds for the Renault driver. So Ted is finally in. So Ted comes into the pits and most likely will go into a set of soft. Yep, that is a set of soft. Reynolds has left the session. I think Reynolds may have given up. Oh no, he's crashed on Lesmo 1. I didn't want to say that on stream. I do apologise. Oh yeah, that's Reynolds round. Round at Lesmo 1. The turbo driver has given up and he's binned it. So down to 13 drivers left. Joe has just got past ECR Matty as well, but Matty is on a different strategy and has yet to pit. Jason isn't too far back off the back of Matty, so we'll stay on board with Jason as they come through Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2. Is Reynolds? Yeah, Reynolds' car has been moved out of the way now, so that is, don't want to see a ghosting car. A bit of distraction really, having a spun car directly in front of you. But Jason, he does have DRS as they come towards Ascari. Should be able to get past Matty with pretty easily as he gets a penalty as well. Maybe feeling the pressure of Jason on his gearbox as they come down towards Parabolica. Jason is in the slipstream here and should be able to get past him pretty easily on the straight, but you know, slipstream in this game and DRS doesn't work properly, so we'll have to wait and see. But starting lap 14 of 27, still 13 laps to go, so still a lot of excitement left in this race, and we've seen a lot of good racing and some crashes and spins as well, Ringrose.
Yeah, as you say, as yellow in sector 3, I believe that was expert Hamlin he's having a bit of an outing on the grass, gone for a bit of grass cutting, lost the front wing. Your usual day out from McLaren. Well, probably shouldn't say that, but yeah, down in P13, having the best of races, going to have to come in again. Had to put on lap 1, I believe. So, I mean, it's not ideal for him being his first race, but Jason now up into P4, going side by side with Matty, make slight contact. Jason, bit of a weave there, but
oh, is that some sort of message to Matty for bad driving? Maybe, I'm not sure. He
no, that's not really like Jason. I don't expect Jason to do that. Maybe he's really annoyed with him with what he did. And he sort of thing I remember Jason doing that was quite strange was in Spain, where he sort of lifted. We thought he had an issue, but he was just sort of quite tight fuel, I believe. As Melanie's into the pits, lap 15. I'd be interested to see whether he goes on to a set of supers or whether it will be a set of softs. You can go on the set of supers, I think. Yeah, it seems to be soft. So obviously going with a safer option, as Ted's called it a day. He's lost a bit of front wing and he's called it a day. So,
dear. Always ghost cars going all over the place.
JP won't be complaining. That's 2 free positions. Was in P11, but obviously passed Melanie as well. The only remaining driver to come, well, 2 remaining drivers to come into the pits. This should be interesting. 240 has come all from the back of the grid, and Matty's come from P15. So the back 2 drivers are both in the top 4, albeit they haven't stopped yet.
Yeah, Force India, usually a good team in real life, and they're sort of replicating here in Italy as Danny comes round the final bend to finish off lap 15. A bit wide there. He's staying out for another lap. I'm not 100% how far these mediums can go, but Danny's doing a good job at the moment. Matty is sort of in the middle of things in 4th place. RBZ behind him. Langman in 6th. Joe goes to the new fast lap of 23.3 for the Mercedes team, and Joe looks like he's on for a good result today. It hasn't had that as of late, so it'd be good to see him get another positive result. Smithson down in 7th on the back of Langman actually, so hopefully these guys close up so we can see some more battling. Matty Bolton, Danny gets another penalty, 6 seconds for Danny, and that's going to really count against him at the end of the race, Ringrose.
Yeah, might be wanting that. It's not ideal for him, is it really? Considering he's sort of on an alternate strategy, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out for him. But guessing those aren't going to be helping him one bit. But you should probably see him in the next couple of laps. Considering Melanie came in, what, 2 laps ago now? Sort of, yeah, 2 laps. So, we'll wait and see. Just wait for him to come around Parabolica. I think he's just sort of hanging out sort of a lap or 2 on Melanie, just so he can guarantee set of the supers. He's going to have to stay out another lap.
It's
Matty's going to come in.
Matty did the same weaving as Jason did, coming out of Ascari. Not really sure if Melanie gets a penalty. I don't know, but maybe that's something towards who is up
Jason.
behind him? Who's a McLaren between? Is that Almond between? Yeah, it's Almond just letting people pass. But I don't know what Matty's doing, weaving about. But RBZ and Langman get past the back marker there nicely, getting out of the way. Yeah, a bit quiet at the moment, unfortunately, on track. We're waiting for these guys to sort of bunch together towards the end of the races. Usually happens with these sort of league racing. But Joe is net P1, 7 seconds behind Danny. Still going strong, 10 laps to go. And hopefully we'll see some more excitement as Smithson gets a penalty as well. Penalty galore here in Italy, Ringrose. You've seen quite a few penalties.
Yeah, there have been quite a few. Seen that. But I mean, it's sort of quite an easy circuit to get penalties, especially around Ascari, because the curbs are quite low and it's quite a high speed corner. Oh, Jesus Christ. That obviously getting a snap of oversteer through Ascari, that's not ideal. But Danny comes in. But again, some of the low speed corners as well. These chicanes are quite easy to cut. Danny sets superstars on that car. Be interesting to see where it comes out. But Joe's leading, Jason 4.7 behind. We've got nine laps to go.
Danny should come out in P7. Yeah, it comes out in P7. Matty Bolton, will he get Danny? No, Matty Bolton's too far back. So Danny on the supers now. So we should see Danny fly through the grid. But of course, he does have 6 seconds worth of penalties. Some of the other drivers do have penalties as well. But I think he may be the only one with 6 seconds worth of penalties. But we should see Danny fly through the grid now. But he's going to be a bit of a long. A big effort there to get through all these drivers. Langman penalty now for the Renault drivers. Now Vesta in the WR F1 driver as he comes down the second DRS zone. That is RBZ and Matty are getting close. Matty still hasn't come in yet, so maybe he's waiting for his teammate to come in and then he'd follow his strategy. But he should be coming in very soon. Those mediums must be very warm. Goes a bit wide on Ascari and he's weaving again. I'm not really sure what he's doing. Is that some sort of signal to RBZ?
What, Matt? I don't know. Like heat in his tyres?
Oh,
I don't know. It's weird.
In the pits finally. There he is. The Force India. And he will drop down maybe actually outside the top 10. Depending on how Melanie will... Yeah, Melanie should be able to get him as well. So Matty will drop outside the points. Depending on quick Force India are. Let's keep an eye on Melanie as he comes. Yeah, Melanie will get him as well. So ECR Matty now comes out in 10th place. He still has a point on the board, and I'm sure he'll put his foot down and try and get some more points with 8 laps left of the Italian Grand Prix here in SRL.
Yeah, we've got final sort of 8 laps now. Yeah, 8 laps. Whether Jason can catch up to Joe, we'll have to see. It's a 4.9 second gap, might be quite difficult. Danny will be interesting to watch as well. He's only 8 tenths off of Smithson and 3 seconds behind Langman. Langman's only 1.8 behind RBZ. So if Danny can have some quali style laps, he could maybe snatch a podium. It would be very quite difficult, but he could snatch a podium, which would be great.
That would be I think 1 5 with 7 laps to go. Will Danny be able to do it? Let us know in the chat. Can Danny do it, yes or no? Whereas he's in the DRS of Smithson. Will he make a move a little bit too far back to make a move? He may, he'll follow him through the Curve Grande. Now may make a move into the second chicane right on the back of his gearbox now as they come round this long sweeping curve. If only that was still banked, ringers would be amazing to see in these modern F1 cars. But a little bit too far back around the second chicane. Gets a better run off than Smithson. Looks for a move through Lesmo 1, a bit too far back again. And he may, not the best place to make a move round the second Lesmo, but he now will have DRS as they come down the second straight right on the back. Smithson goes defensive. Will Danny be able to get him round? Ascari goes to the outside, but Smithson blocks him off there as they come through Ari, but he may be able to move towards Parabolica right in the back of his slipstream, right on his, almost touching his gearbox here. Smithson right on the inside here. Will Danny go to the outside? He does. Smithson cuts him off again. Jeez, great racing from both these drivers as they come round Parabolica. Danny surely will get him now as they start lap number 21. Danny will have DRS, and Smithson still on the defense game here. How is he doing this? Danny has DRS as well, going towards the final, the first chicane, but Danny dropped off a little bit there. Maybe, we're not sure if Danny actually has a setup, so that may be hampering his progress to get past Smithson, or maybe Smithson's just doing a great drive. We're not quite sure at the moment, as Matty gets a, there's a new fast lap of 1:22.8, but Danny dropped off a little bit now off Smithson, so no, his tyres still fresh, so oh, and Smithson goes wide around the second chicane. Danny gonna pop it down the inside on the first Lesmo, and that is Danny up into 5th place. Smith and capitalises that.
Yeah, Danny up into P5, so he's gained 11 positions in this race. Finds himself in P5. 2.7 seconds to Langman. Should be able to catch him, to be honest. Well, yeah, catch him and pass him. Won't be the most difficult thing in the world, but I don't think he'll be able to catch up to Langman. Why are there yellow flags? Who's that for? That fan? Oh, expert Almon's just crashed and retired. So that'll be why that's happened.
When the second Lesmo is maybe put a wheel on the AstroTurf on the left side, and he smashed the wall on the right side, unfortunately for the McLaren driver. Joe is in the lead. Jason is losing time to Joe. It was about 4.8, but now it's 5.4. The Jason moment, RBZ a little bit further back, Langman, but of course Langman has a load of penalties, so, and of course he will be under pressure from Danny. Oh, Danny very sideways around the second chicane there, almost losing the car and straight into the wall, but luckily he keeps it. Geez, that was close from Danny, as Ant Smaz gets a 5-second stop go for speeding in the pit lane, and Jason gets a 3-second penalty as well. So loads of penalties for these guys, and this will come into play towards the end of the race because they're still all pretty close on track. We'll keep an eye on RBZ. He looks like he's gaining on Jace. No, the gap's sort of consistent, 6.6, 6.7. We'll keep an eye on it. Depending if those guys in the super softs, if the tyres will fall off the cliff. So RBZ will come into play then. Of course, Danny is still zooming around the track and got almost out the eked out the gap to above the, sorry, the 1 second gap to Smithson in 6th, but still in Italy, and hopefully we see some more overtaken as at the closing stages of this race.
Sorry about that, I haven't muted cheek, but yeah, no sort of real gaps unless Danny can sort of maybe close in on Langman. Langman seems to be losing time to RBZ. Lost a second over the past few laps. Melanie's not too far from JP, so he could snatch an 8th place. But I think penalties might come into a bit to decide positions, because I know Langman has a couple of penalties which could push him down further down the order.
Yeah, Langman's had quite a few penalties today in Italy. Oh, JP is struggling on soft now. Melanie 7/10 behind the McLaren drivers. Smithson gets a 3-second time as that may be his second penalty. We'll check that in a little bit. But JP is struggling a little bit on those soft tyres. Melanie isn't too far behind him, within DRS at the moment. That's the closest gap we have on track. Everybody else is spread out, unfortunately, so we can't well, there's quite a few seconds between the top three, unfortunately, but Melanie lost a little bit of time there, and that may be out of the DRS zone. Will he get it? He still has it, but he looks like he's too far back to make any progress on the McLaren driver. 3 laps left of this Italian Grand Prix, but if you guys still want to watch some racing this evening, we do have the PS4 F1 SRL F1 at 8:30. So if you want some more F1 action, go and check that out. It will be, I think it's Ginger Andy, and I'm not 100% know who the second commentator is, unless Ringrose, you know who that is.
Oh, off my head.
But those guys will be on at 8:30 on Twitch, I believe. So go check them out as well, because that will be another exciting race for the PS4 drivers. Danny gets another penalty. That's now 9 seconds. I think he's not going to get a podium now. Unfortunately, he is within DRS of Langman, but I don't think he's got time to catch RBZ. It was almost a brilliant drive, still a brilliant drive, Ringrose.
Shoot! Oh no, never mind. Joe was in pause mode. Confused for a second. He was ghosting down the pitch straight. I was like, I wonder what happened. So, yeah, with PS4, Shamassi's currently leading, and it's going to be Jamie Turnbull commentating alongside Ginger Andy. Quite close at the top of the championship, with Ash Richardson just 12 points behind him on 148 points, with Ash taking your win last week. Focus on one race currently, where our race leader Joe is coming for a Ascari, about to go on to his final couple of laps of the Grand Prix. Been a dominant drive, to say the least, hasn't it, Chick?
Yeah, great drive for Joe. He's needed some luck on his side, as Danny is trying to go around the outside of Langman around Ascari. Will be able to do it. Oh, Langman pushing him a little bit wide there, but Danny does not make the move stick on the back in the DRS. He goes towards the outside line, right on the back of his gearbox, almost touching, almost glued together as they come towards Parabolica. Doesn't make the move there, but he will have the DRS. He's right, almost touching the back of Langman as they start the penultimate lap. These guys up, I think both have the same amount of penalties, so this is vying for P4. Danny dropped off a little bit there, but yeah, he just dominated finish. Lucky, he hasn't had the best of times the last 3 races for the Mercedes driver, but back on top again here in Italy, so that's lovely to see. Jason in second, so he will continue to dominate the championship as Danny almost makes the move towards the second chicane. Langman not hitting his apexes here. Danny has a big cut there, and Langman goes off into the gravel trap. Will Danny will go around the outside of Lesmo 1. He's big push wide contact between both drivers, both still on track. Danny tries the outside move again, doesn't manage to make the move stick there. Great driving both the top tier drivers here as they come towards Ascari. Danny has the inside line this time. Who's braver on the brakes? Danny is, and Danny, oh, they're both off there. Still side by side, and that is Danny up into 4th place. Great driving from both these drivers, but Langman is still on the back of Danny. Will he try and make a move here? Line, but Danny, okay. That may be because he pushed him off there. Not 100% sure there, but Danny still gets back at him. But, well, great driving from both these guys as they side-by-side starting the final lap here, Ringrose. It's just great driving. That's what we like to see in this league.
Danny's going to dive to the outside, right over the curb.
Oh, dear me.
Going to let Langman back through. So, yeah, he's going to continue. And is Danny Going to Ricardo Smith. No, he's too far back. Interesting point out. Smithson isn't too far behind. If they make contact again, have a little incident. And Danny's going to go down the inside
Oh,
of
he's
left
off!
by 1. Speaking of incidents, that's Langman off. That's allowed Smithson to get past him. He'll be 1 too far. But again, got to keep penalties in mind. So, well, Joe's just about to cross the line. Duke. Joe takes a win. And Jason, P2. By looks of it's going to be RBZ taking your final podium spot. It'll be interesting to see whether Danny comes full for. Will he come 5th due to penalties? Where's he going to come? So he's 11 seconds behind the lead. Smith's is just behind him, so Langman just behind them as well. But Langman's going to drop down to P7, Duke.
Yeah. And yeah, that it looks like runs off with Matty.
Drivers.
Oh,
Yeah. I think he
jeez,
was
Matty.
weaving on purpose there.
I thought he was going to bin it before the
And
line and
Smaz.
crash. Jeez.
And Smaz going to come across the line. Should we get the drivers in now?
Yeah, if you invite them in, that would be quite handy just to get them in ready so we can get going straight away. We'll just finish off
Straight in instead of waiting around.
Yeah, we'll just do the table and then we can get chatting to the drivers straight away for the viewers. Ansmaz is weaving before he's even got there. He hasn't even got a point on track, unfortunately, for the Ferrari driver. Weaving as he comes across the line, and that's the last driver across the line. If the guys, Arby's and Joe, if you could just wait a second, we'll just do the table and we can get chatting to you both and Jason once he gets in as well. Just waiting for the table to load, but another great race in Italy, Ringrose, and we saw some great battling once again. Of course, it does die off in every race, really, but it was still a great one to watch. So Joe comes across the line to win with the only man without penalties, actually. So Joe in first, Jason second, RBZ in Matty Bolton in 6th, Langman 7th, Manley 8th, JP in 9th, ECR Matty in 10th, Ansmaz and is the last driver to finish today. So we had quite a few retirements in Italy, as Jason is the last man into this party. So guys, if you can all include your audio, we can get going with these interviews. And I guess I'll start with Joe. Congratulations on your win, Joe. You've haven't had the best luck of recent, and you've pulled it out of the bag there and got a win around Italy.
Yeah, I've really pulled my finger out my arse this time. A bit of bad luck. I haven't had a good race since China, so finally it feels good to be back here and back on the top step of the podium. Pretty nice win. And yeah, it was pretty well out there.
Yeah, it was a dominant drive self, and we can see that on sort of led the whole way. Was it always a one-stop strategy for yourself, or were you tempted by the super soft to go back onto them at one point?
Well, I knew it was going to be a one-stop. I didn't know which tyre it was going to be because I did no practice, which I literally did 20 minutes before the race DT and a quali second. So I had no idea, so I just went in the race. I asked what the strategy was in the chat and just went with it. So I pitted like a lap later than everyone else because I know my tyre was not great. A good job I did pit a lap later because my tyres were about 74% at the end.
Oh, jeez.
After I was trying to go, after I saw ECL Matty get fastest lap, I was really tempted to get it back, and I got within like half a tenth, I believe. So nearly, but yeah, good job I pitted a bit later.
Yeah, but yeah, congratulations on your win. Ringrose, you want to take it away with Jason for P2?
Yeah, Jason, congratulations on your second. You didn't have the best of qualifying down in P6, I believe. Were you expecting to be around there, or did you think you could have got higher?
No, it was a terrible point, to be honest. I just didn't think at all. The Haas felt horrible compared to the Mercedes Prix mode, and I've no idea why I was running the exact same setup. But yeah, if I qualified on the front row, I think I'd definitely get a challenge show, but I got stuck behind loads of people. I think we lost like 5 seconds or something in the first 6-7 laps, so it was basically over from there. But Joe drove really well, so well done to him.
Obviously, your sort of main championship rivals, if you really have any, Ted didn't finish, and I don't think Maranzano raced, so extending your championship lead even further. I think, to be honest, I think Joe might now be the second place man in the championship. So, going into the flyway races, how do you feel with, well, a substantial lead over everybody else?
Yeah, okay, it's a case of when, not if, but still hopefully have some enjoyable races. But Singapore next, I absolutely hate that track, so I'm not really looking forward to that. But hopefully it'll still be a good race.
Okay, again, congratulations to both Jason and Joe, and we'll move on to RBZ with Duke.
Yeah, RBZ, congratulations on P3. It was an exciting race for yourself in that the battle for P2. How did the race pan out for you? RBZ? Hello?
I don't think he's there.
Oh dear. Did hear him for a second there.
I heard him for a second, he sort of went,
Yeah.
RBZ.
Not.
He's just put in the
Technical
chat
difficulties.
Xbox is. He's just put in the chat Xbox is F.
Okay.
Right.
Right. Okay. That's that will. Well, okay. Unfortunately, we won't hear from RBZ, but a second podium of the season. Last one was in Canada, but there he goes. He's left the chat, unfortunately. But yeah, congratulations to Joe, Jason, and RBZ for their podiums today. Thank you, Ringrose, for joining me in the commentary box once again here in Italy. And we shall see you for the next race in Singapore next week, Friday at 7 o'clock. If you still want to see some more racing, don't forget to check out PS4 Tier 1. That will be on at 8:30. And of course around Italy as well. That should be a great race as well, so go check that out. See you next week for Singapore. Good night.